Cool. Well, hey, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
God, no.
I could go for like 6 hours. This has been great. Uh, but I do really appreciate you doing this, Michael. Actually, you know what? I will say this: like, out of all of the people that I've interacted with during GamerGate, and I've made a lot of friends, and I made some enemies. Though I don't really think of them as my enemies, but they think of me as one maybe. But you're probably one of the people I have the most respect for because like what you did with the airplay stuff, and you had like no reason to do it aside from like finding out the truth. That's like the only real reason. Um, all the incentives were aligned against you doing this. I appreciate that you took the time and to do it, to hear our story and put it out there. And maybe that story is more complicated and more nuanced than the GamerGate people believe. It probably is, but it's also a hell of a lot more nuanced than what the media said.
That's true. Well, I will. I'm looking. I'm gonna have to now check out if Christina does an interview with you or you interview other participants because now I want to hear their recollections and journalistically see if my memories match up with their recollections. And I'll just leave you with this thought: everyone, donate to my Patreon account. Just kidding. I don't have one. I just.
Well, yeah, I'm doing Ash Scow, Kathy Young, Christina Hoff Summers. I'm
Kathy
trying to
Young,
get
that's who I was thinking of. I always got them confused. Okay, I
yeah.
need to listen to some of these. You need to. I need to subscribe
Subscribe
now.
to my channel. Like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, all the YouTuber stuff that people say. But
I'm gonna
yeah, I'm trying to get Lynn Walsh. I'm trying to get Ren Lapointe or whatever, Lynn Laform.
Run the form.
Yeah,
Yep.
sorry, I want to say his name wrong. Um, and I'm trying to get Mark. Maybe you could help me. Maybe you could reach out to Mark, but he's so jaded on all this stuff. He really is.
Oh, that's too bad. I mean, I like that guy.
I like him too. He's great, but like honestly, like it's like this. He's like the greatest. Uh, I was gonna say he's like the greatest victim of GamerGate. Uh, because like he so truly believed in all this stuff and got crushed by it. Um, but I feel like there's optimism, Mark, and you should come on and you should do the book because I think you have a really interesting perspective that I want to hear, and I think other people want to hear it too. And I think the fact that you're so fucking jaded about all this shit, and like you just are so disappointed, I think that that's part of the story, and that's a part of the
I think
story
so
that
too.
we're not getting because I'm talking with Michael, I'm talking with all these pro GG people, a handful of anti GG people, like most of them they all have their perspective on this, and it's all like, oh, Gamergate was great, some bad actors of course, but we condemn them, whatever, blah 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 blah, right? And then like Gamergate was bad because like the fruit of the poisonous tree or whatever. Like, yet people on both sides have their opinions, but like yours is, I think, an interesting perspective, and I really want to hear it. And maybe you'll be watching this and you'll be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do the interview. Or maybe you'll be like, why are you calling me out, bro? Maybe it'll be that too, I don't know.
I hope he does it. I think it's always good. I think it's good to have a conversation. Doesn't matter how many people are listening. Sometimes just having the conversation makes you congeal your own thoughts. So I am going to listen to the rest of these interviews. It's been a long time since Airplay, and I don't trust my own recollections. Um, I trust their impressions, but not all the particular facts unless I take notes, and I wasn't taking notes. So if you interview these other people, Derek Smart would be interesting to talk to too, as a game developer, what his impressions of that time was. But I definitely want to hear the other interviews you do, and I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad documentaries being made. Um, and I hope if you can look at anything optimistically, it's simply the fact that without Gamergate, I don't know that there would be as many people now producing their own media. And as a journalist, I believe that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I mean I honestly, part of the project when I first started considering doing it, what I wanted to do was like to change the narrative on this a bit because like I think it's bullshit that me and my friends were called misogynistic harassers and still are, and I wanted to fix the record on that. But like now, like part of me still wants. I mean, obviously I still want that to happen, but like that's not the objective. The objective is just to tell people stories and to hear them out. And I I want to get a cross sample, but I actually considered interviewing some of the trolls, like the actual like third party trolls, because they're still around. Some of them are. In fact, some of them are still trolling us to this day. Um,
Sure, why not try it?
but like, well, all they're gonna do is either one, come on here and be like, "Oh, I love GamerGate. GamerGate was about harassing all the women I wanted. It was so like they're gonna be like trolling the fuck out of us. It's not gonna be a
It'll
good
be
faith interview, right?
educational. Yeah, I mean, look, I talked to some of the trolls as I could, and um, you know, I tried to reach out to the guy that said I sucked camel dicks because I wanted to know what he had against camels. But it's funny, the trolls are often the ones that don't want to talk, which is weird to me. Which is why Airplay was in person, because if they were going to show up, they wouldn't be trolling. They'd have to listen. So if you can get them to talk to you, I think that's worth it.
But also at the same time, if I reach out to these people, and like there were different levels of trolls. Like there were trolls who just like fucked around for fun, and there's like trolls that actually did like terrible shit, like dox people and stuff, right? Um, but like some of these people, like they actually did harass people. If I talk with them, these third party trolls, or even like someone in GamerGate who like crossed the line, or anti GG who crossed the line, um, aren't I like de facto like doing? They're doing it for attention, right? That's why they're trolling. And if they're in a book and on a live stream talking about how they sent a death threat to Brianna Wu or whatever, like, isn't that giving them the attention that they wanted and justifying their trolling?
It depends. I mean, if you talk to them, one, I wonder if it's years later, and I know these a lot of these, at least the ones that I knew were kids, they were teenagers. I wonder if they kind of regret that now that they're older, and if they don't, like I've interviewed like white supremacists before journalistically, and it wasn't to give them a platform; it was to try to give everyone else an understanding of why they're like they are. So you just have to. I mean, that's the hard part of journalism. You have to make sure you don't romanticize them, but you help give some intel and their thinking so that they can be neutralized. So if you get those trolls and you interview them, you just have to make sure the interview is tight. I'm sure you've listened to presidential debates that go off the rails because the moderators aren't being very journalistic. They're losing control of the interview. I lost control of the Milo interview. um, but if you can control it, then you're maybe going to get some insight into why they did what they did, and why they thought GG was an easy mark. So I would, as long as you can control the interview, as long as you have faith in your own skills, then. But yeah, if you fuck it up, you're giving them a free platform. That's the danger of journalism, man. But make a mistake of commission, not omission.
Man, now I'm gonna have to reach out to them. And like some of these people were like legit bad people, so but I guess I'll have
That
to
they
do it.
probably still are.
It's part of, well, I mean, maybe some of them probably like moved on, like, and like maybe like some of them have regretted it, but the people who regret it aren't the ones who are still around trolling 10 years later.
Well, well, good luck, and I'm going to listen to the other interviews now, and I'll be the one posting comments and questions.
All right, sounds good. Hey, and of course, if you ever want to talk sometime, I'm going to be a political streamer. That's one thing that I want to do. So if you want to talk politics or something, or like interview me about GG or whatever, I don't know, anything you want. Just hop
Well,
in
how
my
about this?
Discord, send me a DM, email, whatever.
You are going to be political streamer. You're going to be doing journalism. SPJ will help you. You don't have to be a member. We don't care about that. We care about the journalism, not the dues. So when you get that really going, hit me up and let's talk about how you're doing that. And if you want some advice or help or critique, journalists are supposed to critique each other. That's one thing we do. It's not always fun, but it makes shit better. So
Yeah. Oh, was
if
I
you want
too
to do it,
biased?
this is a totally different thing, man. This is your interview, and this is fine. But if you're going to do something else, I'm interested to know. So
Okay. Well, hey,
let's
yeah,
talk.
I might take you up on that, but I'm not. I'll have to remember. I'll have to remember to reach out to you. But especially since I'm gonna have a lot of questions. And like the new media people, they're terrible. You talk about how the old press gets stuff wrong, but like at least they had some degree of standards, even if they like were not great and not perfect. But like the new media people, they're even worse. Like the streamer people, they don't do any research, It's horrible in this community. Like the new media is like people just they turn off their brains. They're like, oh well, Fox News lied to me or CNN lied to me, so now I'm gonna go trust everything that Tim Pool says, or I'm gonna go trust everything that Hassan says or whatever. It's worse than the old press.
That's why if you do it right, I think you'll be you'll be different, and people. I won't say they'll flock to it, but you'll get enough smart people, and that's the audience you want. So I do believe that journalism is just good, greedy business at a basic level. I mean, opinions are only going to take you so far. At some point, you do journalism, more people will listen, you'll make money. Newspapers weren't newspapers for past couple centuries because publishers were committed to journalism. They wanted to make money, and they realized that if you do objective journalism, objective as you can, um, you get people from both parties because they know that. Look, people only get mad, really mad, at stories they think the other side is gonna believe. So the reason that people hate the mainstream media, like fuck the New York Times and the Washington Post. But if they do an investigation into your candidate, you get so mad because you think it sounds convincing enough that other people are going to believe it. You don't get as mad at a streamer on YouTube because you're like, oh, what a fucking joke. What a clown. No one's going to believe this. And you might hate it, but you don't get really deep down mad about it. You get deep down mad about shit that you, if you admit it to yourself, sounds pretty good and you don't like it. So if you can do journalism that pisses off people for the right reason, they will keep coming back or they'll keep commenting and engaging because they want to persuade you and anyone paying attention that you're wrong. And then you get to say, hey, man, I was just quoting some other people. People that tell me that they don't like what was said at Airplay. I said, did I say it? No, I didn't like what your panelist said. Oh, I have no, I'm not responsible for that. They're their own people. So your issue is with them, not with me. Well, you gave them a platform. That's right. I did. You can be mad at me for the platform, but you're mad at them for what they said. So you give people a platform and you try to keep it as you do a better job than I did with Milo, you'll be a success.
Well, thank you. And as you say, there's nothing more hypocritical than a thin-skinned journalist. So I'm gonna have to reach out to one of those trolls and see if they're
All
willing to come on and tell their story.
right, man. Good luck.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
See ya.